And just like that, we are back. Welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terryl. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those people. We've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast, Ready to Love, Season 7, Miami Recap, Episode 3. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a review, and leave a comment.
Well, apparently some of these people on this show have not read the script, and I know you're not extremely happy about this show as a whole. But I do. I want to say, thank you, of course, to everybody that watches, everybody that listens, where they get their favorite podcast, but especially to you, Terrell, for thugging through this, even though we're only 3 episodes in, brother. I'm gonna need you to toughen up because this is gonna get a lot worse for the remainder of the season.
So, first of all, to all the prayer warriors that wanted me to watch and do this show, you're the problem. You need to raise
Mhm.
your standards. Raise your standards. This show is terrible. I feel like the reality show world was like, okay, black people are upset. There's not a show about them. So let's go ahead and make one and let's half-ass it and just give them something. Here, you got 1 hour. Now be happy. It's crap. The whole setup is crap. The production is crap. So we need some new prayer warriors. I don't need any more of these Waffle House prayer warriors on here trying to get us talking about shows. I need some Ruth Chris level prayer warriors to give us something to work with. Some of y'all, this is
you,
bad.
you see, I had to give you your solo camera shot.
Hey, I just had to get that off my chest because the whole time I'm sitting there watching this show, I'm like, people really watch this. Even Friday night, I was looking on Twitter to see, are people really talking about this show like they do
Mhm.
the others? Is
Yeah.
there a hashtag for Ready for Love? And I'm just looking at them like, who is this audience? Who is the audience that loves this? I don't understand. It's terrible.
Are you done?
Sorry. I had to get it over. Had to be said. Had to be said. Sorry, not sorry. Had to be said.
And just for the record, there's nothing wrong with Waffle House after the club and you're drunk and you need to, make sure that you don't wake up sick, so you go to Waffle House so it can cleanse your system.
Mhm. Okay. But Ruth Chris is good any time of day, any day of the week.
The prices aren't,
That's
but
the
yes, go ahead.
difference. That's the difference.
No, the
Quality.
difference is in prices too.
Quality. Quality. Which we don't see on Ready to Love. This is poor quality. See? This is on OWN. This is on Oprah's show.
Uh-huh.
This is why Harpo hit her. This
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my God. Are you done now?
I'm done.
Okay. Because this week the ladies took control, man. Tommy gave the ladies the power. Last week the guys had the power. The guys determined who was going home, and this week he was giving the women the power, or as they said, the girls have the power. And so he told them, go out on these dates with these guys and be a little more open. Reveal some stuff that you have not done this early in the dating process. And so let's just run through the dates as they appeared on the show. Mercedes and Sue Ann decided to do a fitness date with Blake and Mark Anthony, and they went to Kangoo, which was, I thought it was an interesting concept. Blake a little tight about the activity, but is because he was afraid like he couldn't keep up with them younger folks because Blake's a little up there compared to the rest of them.
Yeah, but Blake's in shape. I mean, he's pretty fit.
Facts.
So the dude that bothered me was Mark Anthony. If my boys see me doing this, they're gonna judge me. I'm like, if your boys judge you for doing this exercise, you need new boys. I don't see anything wrong with this exercise that they did. It's a good calf exercise. I mean, it looked like it was fun.
Mm-hmm. I did not
So
judge him for being on the reality TV show in the first
yeah,
place.
exactly. They're not gonna judge you for that.
If I could hook up with chicks on TV, they're fine with that. But if I gotta put on these crazy looking contraptions and exercise, they're really gonna give me a hard time.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I thought their whole date, the exercise part was cool when they break off and have their one-on-one dates.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think had the best date between Mark Anthony and Mercedes, and then Blake and Susu?
I think Susu and Blake actually, because that was some good interaction, just playful interaction. You get to see Blake is actually a human being instead of the stuck up snob he's been for the first 2 episodes, right? Or judgmental Judy that he's been the first 2 episodes. I think that was good between the two of them, a little playful. I think it was a little better than Mark Anthony, who, you could tell they didn't really work out because one, there was no sweat for anybody, and two, you notice he had his armpits all up in her face.
I know, like, who snuggles up after a workout? Come on. You gotta have to get some Axe body spray, something. You gotta do something. You just can't do that. Uh, so I thought that Sue, Sue, the fact that she was all giddy because he gave her a nickname just tells me like this is why you're probably on this
Uh-oh.
show and single because you think that's exciting. He gave me a nickname. That means he really cares. I'm like, that's just dumb. And I really think Blake is just playing everybody, to be honest. I think he's just playing the game
Mhm.
for all of them. He's kind of manipulative.
I mean, it's the little things that count, Terrell. So the fact that she liked the nickname, I mean,
Oh goodness, that moves her. Oh, he really likes me. He called me Susu. Weak ass.
it might have been a weak ass nickname, but I mean, he could have come up with something better. But he said Susu, I was like, that's it.
Yeah, I'm just like, and she, oh, stop it.
He
He
said
don't
something
really
like
like you.
pumpkin pie. That would have been something better. Something, anything. Jeez,
Something, anything could have been anything could have been better. But I think Mercedes and Mark Anthony, because she's a flight attendant, he's learning how to fly planes. I'm still thinking that they might have something there.
it looks like. I mean, she's definitely attracted to him, right? But then even when well, tell me about yourself. Well, I'm smart. I'm good looking. No, I'm just playing. Like, that joke is played out. Don't do it. Don't do that again.
It is, but when he first said it, I was just like, oh, do we start making some notes? I'm like, oh, he was just joking. Okay, whoop.
You're like, damn it. We thought we had something here. Well, next date, and I always like this date, man. I did it recently with my wife, painting with a twist. Cynthia and Andre went to do it, and I will say their paintings look a lot better than anything I've ever done on canvas. So I give them kudos to them for that. But what do you think about Cynthia opening up about her past? Because I thought it was kind of good for her to do, and good for Andre to just sit there and listen and hear it.
So for me, I look at it as red flags.
Oh boy.
If you're gonna break out into tears on first date, second
Now
date.
this was the assignment. Stop it. Stop it.
No,
This
the
was the
assignment was to be vulnerable and share some stuff. It
exactly.
wasn't to break down and cry. And not saying that you can't cry, but I'm just saying I
You
look at that
heartless
as a red
bastard.
flag because she says that she asked him, what kind of woman you looking for? And he pretty much says he wants someone soft. And she's like, well, what if someone has that shield up and you have to
Mhm,
look through that
mhm,
to see, would you have the patience to be willing to teach? The whole time I'm like, okay, girl, you need counseling. You don't need a man. You need some counseling first
mhm,
before you get into a relationship because you're expecting him to use his supervision to look
mhm.
past all your walls of bullshit to see the real you. Get some counseling first before you date. And so I think when someone breaks down like that, you need to get some counseling before you start dating. I'm just saying it's a red flag that she could just be her being vulnerable. But if I was on a second date with somebody and she bursts into tears telling me a story, I'm out.
I see your red flag and I raise you an orange. It's not as bad as the red. And I'm just gonna say, because here's the thing. What I liked about and I understand what you're saying. Okay. I understand what you're saying. However, most people, when they go that route, they go, "Oh, that's just the way I am, and you have to accept me," right? No. Instead, what did she say? She said, and let me make sure I get this right. She said, her not being open probably helped many things go left. She's admitting to her part in things not working out before. Rule number one, and the first step is always admitting your part of it.
But if you can admit you're part of it without bursting into tears on the
You
second date,
heartless bastard.
I'm not heartless. All I'm saying is when you were single, if you think way back when you were single, on the second date, someone's telling you a story about them, they start crying, you're telling me you're gonna be like, oh, she's just being vulnerable. You could be like, okay, this girl's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
So
because there weren't cameras there and Tommy all in the air talking about, "Now I need you to go ahead and tell him something you wouldn't normally tell him at this
which
time."
makes it even more suspect to me that you crying because the cameras are there. Because she did it again later. So I just feel like when the cameras, but then in the real world, you go back to putting this shield up.
Mhm.
and expecting him to be Hulk and smash and get through your wall. No.
Oop,
Now,
that's
what I
his
thought was
intention.
hilarious is she's crying. I'm like, Andre, you could have easily got more napkins. This dude was like, here, use my sleeve of my bicep. Get the camera on that.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently he did put his deodorant on too, because I mean that could have that could have gone left.
That could be why she was crying. She's ooh, ooh.
Who's got onion? What kind of deodorant you use? Onions?
Your armpits are being vulnerable right now. They're telling me a lot.
Yeah, well, and for all of that, they did seem like they had a good connection. But you talk about his sleeve. They asked him, and having been in this place, I know they don't have napkins. They have paper towels. Right? And man, they don't have paper towels. They have bathroom paper towels. So you saw what they brought him back, right? They brought him back like the paper bag joints. Do you have any napkins? She just scraped all her face up with them hard ass paper bag towels that they had. I'm like, that's why he brought out the sleeves. So you got to give him credit for that. He brought out the sleeves because she was scarring herself with that harsh.
He didn't want her to scratch her retina. I get it. He was being a gentleman.
Exactly. And they looked it looked like a great date. I mean, you and I had our reservations about Andre from episode 1. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this one showed that he can actually listen because not everybody can, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he listened, he was there. He didn't try to go in too much and like, oh, she's crying. Let me go ahead and cop a quick feel, but he just in one show, I'm sensitive too. Use my sleeve.
Come here, baby girl. It's okay.
Put your head on my shoulder. You know how that used to go. Next date, Corvaya and Fabrice on their daddy-daughter bike riding date. What the hell was this, man? I mean, seriously. I like the fact that he called her and she's like, oh, I asked for them to give me somebody who owned a business and sold it, but it's not about the money. No. It's okay. It is.
Yeah, I mean, he called her out, but he was still just being an asshole.
Yes.
He's just overbearing. You can't. She's trying to give you a chance. No one else really wanted to.
Right.
She's trying to give you a chance, and you're just coming across like this asshole.
Mhm.
That I know what you're like. I know all about. I know more about you than you think. No, you don't.
My first love was Puerto Rican, so I understand you.
Yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't. It's just he is just a weird. He's just a weird dude. Super arrogant.
Mhm.
Um. And just kind of creepy.
And he wasn't feeling her too. He's just like, I need you to open up more. You can tell that he just wasn't. But you and I have also said she's probably got a lot of bullshit that she's
Oh
feeding
yeah.
us into this too. And he's
Oh yeah.
picking up on some of it and just like, yeah, nah, I'm not buying this. I've seen this. Because even when he's like, yeah, if I were you, if I look like you, I did the same thing too.
Yeah, but he totally turned her off. She was interested
Mhm,
and totally turned off by it, and just comes across very like condescending. So I've traveled. I know this. I've dated this kind of person. I know you.
mhm.
I sold businesses. Just stop it.
But let's be honest, we did not want to see these two as a couple because it literally looked like a daddy-daughter bike ride through the park.
Yeah, it's like he was going through a midlife crisis and downgraded.
And that's why they had a scolding session at the end of their bike ride. Now go put your toys away.
I'm gonna tell you this just one time.
And if I have to tell you again, you're gonna be in timeout. You go grounded, young lady. Marcia, Marcia, and Morgan, they decided to have a beach picnic with Lyndon
Hmm.
and Tony. And what I liked about this too, because even at one point they kind of switched. Because remember, wasn't it Marcia and Tony who were on a date before? But
Yeah.
and when they showed this, they didn't have them couple up. They kind of switched it this time. Um, what did you think of this date?
So I'll start with Morgan and Tony when they went off separate.
Mhm,
Morgan said, the fact that she's never been in love before,
mhm.
I think that should be a red flag for a lot of these people.
But that's what
Uh,
Tony said too. But so you really think that's a red flag?
yeah, I
Why?
do. If you're in your 30s and you've never loved somebody before, I mean, I'm not saying just because you haven't, people judge that you haven't been married or whatever, but
Mhm.
you haven't even loved somebody. That is just kind of interesting. And she's asking him, what can you give me that I haven't had in any other man? How could he answer that? He doesn't know any dude that you ever been with. So it's just I thought it was just a dumb question. But then when she made the comment that what's his name said they had to be more vulnerable, and she goes, also, I don't put my business out there like that, but you're on a reality show.
Yes.
So I was like, you're putting your business out there in a major way.
Mhm.
True, you picked one of the worst reality shows to jump on, but
Stop it.
you did. So there was that. And then Tony is like I
Player
don't trust Tony because
at
I
all.
always have reservations with these dudes who are always like, I just want a woman I can pray with. I just want to be able to pray for you, and we can hold hands in prayer and just when they
And
say
then
that,
I'll
because I
rub
feel
your
like
feet.
is yeah, and I'm gonna rub your feet and then gotcha, bitch. I just feel like I just feel like he's luring her, he lures women in with that type of phrase, because I think women that are very, because if you think about it, how many women that are very religious, then you hear
Mhm.
about their dating experiences, you're like, wait a minute, how do you and your God let you go through that? They got lured in because that dude is saying all that right stuff. So I don't know. I don't really trust Tony's. That's how I feel about those two.
I'm right there with you because I mean, even though it looked like he was moving with intent and saying, "Well, okay, here's what I want. Let it be known from the jump. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's this." But then it really sounded to me like he was using the same lines that he'd used with Marcia on that other date, and he's always talking with that quiet storm voice, and then I want to let me come in and get a hug, you know. Like, come on, man, stop it, stop. Open your mouth and talk. But you know what though? Here's why I can't even blame Tony for this. I blame the women that have fallen for that crap every time before. And everyone on this show that's gonna fall for that, and as we'll discuss a little bit later, not everybody has, but some people have. And that to me really just screams danger,
Yeah,
danger,
run,
danger.
run,
Mhm.
girl. Marcia and Lyndon's date. First off, why does Marcia have every ring she owns on her hands? I've never liked to see women with 3 or 4 rings on their hand. I just think it just looks trashy.
Mhm.
But you do you.
Hey,
But
I don't know who's gonna break in the house and steal in my jewelry box. I'm gonna take it all with me,
you
okay?
take it with you. It's just
Yes.
it's like when I see a dude with a pinky ring, I'm just like, no. But anyway, I think Lyndon's a lost cause in general,
Mhm,
because he lives what I call the college life. He's like a bartender at night,
mhm.
and he always talks about that, the nightlife and da da da. You're for the streets right now.
No,
That's your
he's a
world.
smoocher.
Yeah, yeah. He like to smooch the streets, but the way he tried to lean in and go at her, I was like, come on, that was just, there was no signal she was given
Mhm.
that I saw that she said that wants him to kiss her. So, and I know I'm not good at reading signals, but even I can tell she was not ready for that.
That is the product of this, okay? Because people are accustomed to swiping right, swiping left. There's no emotion involved. They don't know how to read signs, and it's interesting because I actually started listening to this new season on Land of the Giants, and it's what they talk about. You miss these social cues. You don't know it anymore, and he missed all of them because he heard one word like "take a chance." Okay, yeah, not that
Well,
chance. Not
he's
that
he's he's the he's the result of male pretty privilege. Tall, good-looking guy, has that accent, and you work the clubs and the nightlife. So you can smooch people all night long because it's
chance.
easy. Because they're drunk, you're feeding them cocktails.
Mhm.
But he totally missed that she's not interested in him. And to me, I think most of the ladies are not interested in him. So I'm curious to see how much longer he's going to be on this thing.
How did you like her rejection? Because she laid him down in a way that the NFL would be proud to not call a roughing the passer call, because she treated him like a quarterback, laid a pillow down, put a blanket over him, and she was smooth in her rejection.
Yeah. She's, oh, hey, Lyndon. No, no, I'm sorry. You need to get back in the friend zone where you belong. This is your seat right here.
I like how she said, and I'm sorry if you misread this situation. It- and the way she did it was really smooth. She's good because she's just like, I want to make sure I don't make you go back in a shell. And I realize you're pretty sensitive. So I'm going to just lay you gently down
Yeah.
and say no.
I'm going to put this friend hat on you. That way, in case you forget, just look at your hat.
Don't mind it's in the shape of a cone.
Yeah.
And friend is spelled DUNCE.
Yeah.
Jeffri and Demario went horseback riding. Uh, we going horseback riding in the middle of Miami? Come on, Demario. What do you think? Horses only exist in the Wild West?
Right. Again, goes back to my hatred of this show. It's cool to hear. Like, I wish I could hear more about Jeffri's upbringing, because I'm fascinated with people that grew up around horses and all that stuff, because I didn't.
Mhm.
And so when you hear people talk about it, just you think about that life and what that could be like as a kid. I think that's really cool. I think Demario is a good dude, but I'm like, dude, she has 3 kids. You need to ask a lot more questions, because we don't know, is it 3 kids all by the same dad, or
You still
what?
stuck on that, huh?
That's important.
It is.
It's very
I
important.
give you
And
that.
so
Yeah.
her concern about him doesn't have his own children. So how could he come in and take care of 3 kids? Well, I have questions for you about how you got to these 3 kids. And if he's willing to try, who are you to say how can you handle it? Well, why can't I handle, what's wrong with them? Are they bad kids?
No, the
You got
question. So
baby's kids?
when you say take care of them, what do you mean?
Yeah.
now,
You
now
know,
how are we dividing these duties here? Because these are your kids.
that sounds like a you problem right over there.
I'll be there to back you up. You need
Yeah.
to call. You need to call in the backup. I'm there. I got you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, because I really do think if you're going to date a woman with 3 kids, you got to really be sure that's what you want to do. And then, especially if you get a chance to meet them, you don't want to meet the kids
Mhm.
and then a month later be I'm out, because that's going to hurt them. So I think Demario, if you're really interested in Jeffri, you have to really do some digging to say, hey, can I handle this? Can I financially, emotionally,
Mhm.
mentally handle all that what comes with dating a woman with 3 kids? And I don't know how old the kids are. If they're like 4, 6, and 8, that's totally different than 12, 19, and 25.
Right. I will say, the thing too is that he went, well, it lets me know that you're a good mother. Why? Because she has 3 kids. That doesn't make her a good mother.
She's not with them. She's on the show. So
that is not where it's going with this, but okay.
if I'm in the club with you at 2:00 in the morning, you're just like, yeah, I got 3 kids. Oh, you sound like a good mom. You at the club at 2:00. How do you know she's a good mother? Like,
Oh my
what have you
God.
seen to say that she's a good mother?
Well, she's not out there like some of the other women on the show, so she's at least carrying herself in a respectful mommy way, I guess.
Is
Maybe
that what
that's
that
what he.
is?
Maybe that's what he meant. She didn't come horseback riding to some Daisy Dukes, and maybe that's what he meant. I don't know.
I just think you can't just assume somebody. If a guy's like, yeah, I took my kids to McDonald's. Oh wow, you're a really good father. No, he just took them to McDonald's.
Hey, the funny thing is when so they go, he's never done horseback riding before. She gets the wild horse. First of all, these horses have been tortured just by the prancing that they're doing. They've tortured those horses. Okay,
It's a
and
cry
if you
for
don't
help.
believe me, look it up. Yes,
They were
it
sending
is.
signals to PETA. Like,
That was Morse code. But you see how cocky he got all of a sudden? He's like,
yeah,
well, I'm a quick learner and I had this. And she's just like, hey, loosen up.
yeah.
That horse is just scared because you just kept grabbing the heck out of it.
Just lean back and just hold it. Did you see? But did you? Lyndon had another date.
Yes, but Jonique at the wine bar.
Yeah, that's my thing. I work the bar at nights. I know wine. Stop it. You
Well,
sling cocktails. It's not like the movie Cocktail where you're doing all this flash bartending. You make drinks.
no, he said he's in the office. He's a bar manager.
Okay. Okay. That's a way to try to make yourself sound important. You're a bar manager with roommates. You make drinks. You just have the keys and you count money and make a deposit. Calm it down.
You're not gonna give this man a break at all.
I've worked in the industry for a long time. I know what a bar manager does. Don't try to make yourself sound more important to these women.
Well, yeah,
Just say, hey, I work at night, run a bar. Well, I sit in the office all night. I'm not doing anything. Bullshit.
right.
You're
No,
out
because you need to
there
know what's happening out
slinging
there.
cocktails
Hmm.
and you're watching the bar. You're out there flirting with the ladies, getting your smooch on.
Hmm.
So don't act like you're at the 14th floor of some executive suite. Okay, today's cocktail is going to be putting the menus together. Stop it. You're not doing that.
Who we bringing in the office to smooch today?
Yeah, yeah, you're not doing any of that.
Hey, so Jonique though, and I always felt it kind of awkward as they try to explain the assignment that Tommy gave them, right? But you know, her thing she shared was that she usually compares the men she dates. Yeah, that's bad, and I don't think she stopped because she was sitting there comparing him to somebody.
But I think that's an interesting call out because many people do that,
Hmm.
and it's not healthy, right? Guys, I'm sure do it. Um, I always wonder, like the people, if you see all their exes, they all kind of look alike. I wonder if like, is that why? Because they're always trying to find someone like that one
Hmm.
that got away, and they're trying to like, okay, now how much are you better than the last one? You know?
Or is it self-conscious? Is it that happens unconsciously, right? Like
Yeah.
in the sense that these are the traits you see in one person. Now, granted, on the looks and they look exactly the same. That does seem kind of weird. But if that's your type that you're attracted to, I mean, they'll say that about some people who only date a certain race. They'll say that
Right.
this is the type. But it's in the same sense. What is it that makes them attracted to this person? Could it be somebody's traits that, oh, you see the same traits as that, but it doesn't mean you're going looking just for that.
Well, and it's good that she recognizes that she does it, but I'm curious, like, what are the things that she's comparing, right?
Mhm.
Is it the things that are important, right? Is it about their character, maybe their profession, financial stability? Are you comparing the two, or is it like little stuff? Okay, you don't kiss the way so and so kissed. You don't do this the way so and so did this. I'm just curious, like, what are the things that she sees herself constantly comparing? Because maybe it's those particular things are important to her. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I would love to hear more about what she compares
That's
with each
a
guy.
That's a great question because you're right. If it's something as simple as the kissing and the physical stuff, then that's pretty surface and yeah, that's pretty shallow and bad. If it is
Right.
about the like you said, financial stability, what's your character? How do you treat other people? Then yeah,
Right.
that you can see where that's a little better in that sense. So it's not always bad, but I think comparing automatically, which is what it sounds like she's done, automatically started comparing. Well, this person doesn't look like this, so that's what it sounds like. So
Right.
um, we'll jump to those conclusions as the women jumped into the happy hour with Tommy, and he asked them, "All right, so who are we not feeling?" And Tony was the first one up because Cynthia was like, "Yeah, nah, he's giving nothing but player vibes, and they ain't talking about nothing." And Morgan was not happy with
No,
her saying that.
but that's not what I see. And I'm like, see, this is why y'all got to listen to what some of these other people telling you, because they're trying to put you on game and tell you about this dude, but I don't see that about him. Okay, well,
That's because he talks to me in this
that's because
quiet storm
he
voice.
told me that we were gonna pray together, and he was gonna rub my feet. He was gonna. I think he's a really good, godly man, and so I don't see that about him. I think he's amazing. Yeah, okay, Morgan.
And
This is why
he's
you ain't been
literally
in
said
love.
that to everybody
Yes,
that he sat down with.
yes, every woman. I thought that was funny, and then the Fabrice. I think
Mhm.
everybody was correct on what they said about him.
Yes.
Um,
When Cynthia said he's older and should know better.
yeah, he should know better. He should. Uh, and then that's before this, or that's she started crying again after that. No, she was talking about her date with Andre.
Yeah.
Now she got vulnerable, and then for the camera, she had a couple more tears drop out.
Leave
Um,
her alone. That was a sensitive topic for her.
okay. And then Blake, though, I thought that was an interesting conversation because just like what happened with Tony, yet someone saying something negative about Blake, and Sue was like, "What?"
Yeah.
She
Because
was
Sue
really
had a
feeling
great
him.
date with him.
Yeah, but then Jeffrey's spilling tea.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we might as well just talk about it here before we even get to the elimination. We've seen the teaser coming up. Let's make predictions right now. Is he the liar or is she the liar? I can see women saying he's the liar and backing up Jeffrey on this. I can see that happening.
Yeah, if Jeffrey has receipts,
Hmm.
because she would have to show the text messages
Hmm.
to say that he said all these things. So if she
Hmm.
has receipts, great. But off jump, I'm gonna say Jeffrey is the liar.
If Blake is as smooth as he should be, he wouldn't have texted that.
Exactly. Because I think Blake is a little too. He's a chief security officer for a
Yeah,
company.
he
I
should know
think
better.
he knows better than to put that stuff in digital. So
Yes.
if he said it to her, great.
Hmm.
But she's like, he texts me all the time. I'm like, but did he?
Hmm. Well, and it's interesting though. But here's the thing I have about that. It because what she said was that he said to me that he's already found a woman. It's me, right? He hasn't really said it to anybody else. Well, even if he did say that, is that bad? That if he's moving with intent, you're the person. And we've seen this in I think it was the last DC season that we kind of saw this. No, this is what it is. You're my one. But I'll go on these other dates with everybody else because we're here for the process. But you're my one. And we've
Yeah, but
seen that happen and it worked.
she's being messy, saying he said he doesn't like the process and he's already
That's
picked
the part.
me and all
That's
that.
the
I'm like,
part.
you're being a little bit messy there. Plus,
Mm,
he gave Sue Ann a nickname. I mean, maybe she's the one because nicknames are a big
right.
deal,
Susu.
apparently. Yeah. She's Susu now. So I'm an ass. I'm sorry. I'm an ass.
So no surprise that the two people up for elimination, Fabrice and Blake. So Sue Ann, of course, goes on the date with Blake, the second date, and he knows something's up. And he obviously is like, okay, here am I. I'm back in the hot seat, even though he's trying to play dumb about it. I don't know why we're having a date. No, you know exactly why. But he didn't take the news very well, did he?
No, he didn't. And this was makes me more skeptical about Blake
Mm.
because his mind says, "Look, I'm not gonna be a certain way for every kind of woman." And and that's
I'm
the
gonna go
equivalent.
harder now.
That's the equivalent of if you can't appreciate me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
You're
That women say, and I'm
yeah,
like, Blake, that just sounds dumb. Just say, really, that's some good feedback. I really didn't know I came across that way.
exactly.
Uh, but the way he handled it and getting so defensive,
Hmm.
um, was just to me, it was a little. I can't say immature because he's old. But
All people can be immature too.
well, I guess true, touche. But yeah, he got quite defensive about that.
He did, and you're right. Just the fact that he wanted to go into retaliatory mode and like, well, now that I'm really going to be mean. That's not the way to handle this. You've
Yeah,
been in the bottom two twice already. We're only 3 episodes in, my brother. And the only reason you weren't in there 3 times because y'all were eliminating the women last week. You might not want to
yeah.
do this.
Yeah, I think the show wants to keep him on. He's the villain.
Yes.
And so he's not going anywhere, I'm sure, as we found out because it wound up being, you know, Papa Giorgio, old man River talking all that trash and just got all pissed because well, this is the problem with y'all women. Y'all think like this and da.
Oh
I've been
man,
around the
River.
world and sex is important. If they say it's not, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Da. I'm like, dude, do you hear yourself right
Right. It's but
now? And he's gonna watch this and gonna be like, I still don't see what I did wrong.
he's not going to see anything wrong. He's going to be like, they were immature. These women
Exactly.
are not ready for the type of man that I am because I have sex 25 hours, 8 days a week.
Yeah, well, I applaud how Marcia handled that with him because she's just looking at him just like, this MF here. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Now that we've got that clear. Oh man. Look, I know you're not a big fan of the show right now. We're only 3 episodes in. And you may like it the more we go
No,
along.
no, stop it. Stop it.
I do agree with you though. They do need to put the names up of these people. There's way too many people for us to know all their names. Okay, you need to
Right.
put every time you put them on the screen, put their damn names up and what they do because we have no idea. Okay, so it's an
Quality.
hour show. We need, and it's too many people.
Right. And too much interaction. They're not coupled up. I mean, it's really a hard show to follow,
Mhm.
but it really just seems like there's no structure to this. It's just kind of whatever Tommy wants to do. Let him have it.
Prayer Warriors, you made this
No,
choice last year.
quality prayer warriors. Talk to them. Don't talk to the other ones anymore. They're on timeout.
I'm just saying they picked this show, and this is the one that we're doing, and we committed to doing the season, so we're going to do the entire season. And I say this because you see, Terryl, yeah, there he goes again. There he goes. Look, you committed to this, brother.
I did. I'm gonna see it through,
Okay.
but I'm gonna talk about it. I am gonna talk about it. That I wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Mhm.
If you can't handle me at my worst,
Oh
Yanni,
boy, here we
you
go.
don't deserve me at my best.
On that note, I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell.
Hey, make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Justel, and at RGRTPod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit you found on the internet. We'll talk about it on our regular show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.